Morning, this is 9 to 5 to Riches. This is Daniel. I'm looking at the S&P 500 or VOO, which is what I buy. The version of S&P 500. It's slightly cheaper, slightly better. Not this price here, cheaper, but let's take a look at the actual real quick. So SPY, VOO. The chart looks exactly the same. Look at the year to date is 25.24%. Then VOO year to date 25.31, 24.31, same thing. Okay, so where are we now? It looks like we're somewhat consolidating at these highs, trying to build a new channel, and the height of the channel is at 6%. The low is about 2%. So there's a 4% move. And where are we now? High is 6%. Right now, we're down 3% from all-time highs. And there's a potential of, we can go to 525. We can go to 522. But we're pretty bullish for now. If we do become bearish, stop trying to lick my hand, this goddamn dog. It's 560. She wants me to pet her. 560 is the all-time highs on VOO or SPY. And if I were to minus 5%, that'll take us back down to 532. So there's a potential we can go to 532 before going higher. Or we just go in a down direction and we go all the way down to, more of like a 10% dip. I mean, I doubt it. The 505 area, I would assume we go to, highs of, like 570 or so, 580. So we can get that 10% dip by about 522. And 560 plus, 5%, or about 4%, would take us to 580. So just 4%. So we are quite high, although you can always get more overbought. And you have to understand, the new presidency, the new people are not in yet. They're not in yet. So the Democrats that are in control of the majority of things, they can mess it up for the Republicans that are coming in if they want to. And I had 15.1 shares in the morning, and this is what I've added to my VOO position. I bought 4 shares at 543.88. I bought 0.2 shares, 0.1 share, 0.1 share. I'm kind of just dollar cost averaging, but I do have a decent amount of cash, or I did. Still 21K, but I just dollar cost average slowly a few things yesterday, and they're even more down today. So what do? I'm going to, hold what I have, and SPY, I'm going to simply continue to dollar cost average, or VOO. My average is 535, or a little bit under that, 534 something. But, it goes up and down when you buy and sell, because I trimmed at the top. But my VOO position is now back to 10K. It's 20 shares at 536.85. 536.85 times 20 shares. It's about 10 grand, 10.7. $10.7. Just even that out. I'm going to buy half a share. 537, 20.5, 537 times 20.5. So we got 11 grand in VOO. Okay. 11 grand in VOO. Support is 537. So I'm not going to really buy any shares or anything until I see 537. Yeah. Down 500 today. Oh gosh, it's laggy. Why is that lag in there? I like how I close this app and it immediately opens. Well, yeah, that's hilarious. That's my chart's not working right now. Probably need to close the app. Oh, I guess the internet shot. Not sure, but I guess I can do that on stream. Just disconnect the Wi-Fi and use some 4G. No big deal. We're having a beautiful Friday. The market's still open. It's 9:22 a.m. That fixed the issue. Nope. Gonna have to do old-fashioned close the app and reopen it. And like magic, the app works all over again after you just do a quick reset. Okay, so it's down 500 today. I was down, I was up at $4,000, less than $4,000, like 4,800, 4,700. But yeah, you can see here we're at 5, and there's 46. Okay. Yeah, so I was down 38, now 44. No big deal, slow fluctuations. Things are going to fluctuate on your account. Don't try to look at the short term. So let's look over here. VU. 543.44, 543.69. You got a short bounce. 543.88. But it is in a down direction. It's not really good to be buying this down direction, but I have so much money relative to the position. I have 20K and there's 11K in here. So if I want to, I can double down in the entire position and put in 20 from 11. And I will do that. I'm just going to be dollar cost averaging on the way down. The next buy for like 5-10 more shares, a large amount, a large dip buy for me or for you, in my opinion, not financial advice, would be about 32, 33. But you got to be careful because it might go to 35, 36 and bounce off of there. So it's hard to time the bottom. You just want to time the relative bottom and the relative top for buying and trimming. We don't really know, no one really knows where the top and bottom is. That's why we try to dollar cost average as usual. But it's down 3% from highs, so when it comes back to all-time highs, you'll be up 3%. Or typically, goes down 5, or maybe we even, we don't get a dip buy. Maybe we kind of just, there's a lot of consolidation. We're just showing some consolidation period. And a little bit like right here, if you look at the year to date, and then it just goes higher and it keeps pumping. And then it has a huge dip buy right here to the base. There could be a huge run from here, and this is the base, and the base is going to be 525. And if we look at 525 plus 5%, okay, plus 10%, okay, but the all-time high is about, so you need about a 7% dip or 6% to get to 525. Okay, so the market goes up. Let's see. Yeah, it's potential. You can go anywhere. 525 is very possible, the base of this. It's my dog coughing, don't worry. Hairball or something. But yeah, 532, 535, about 5%. But we're about 3%, as I just said. And I'm comfortable buying here. I'm not going to be going crazy at 543 because it's above my average. But I just bought a handful of shares right there. I bought 5 shares this morning, and I'm only doing that because significant drop this morning, 1.65% from 550. Couldn't hold that 550 resistance right here. Basically, struggling to get to 550. 552 rejected on the chart. Let's go to the 1 week. 545. We slowly The next day, it goes to 5, right here. Where do we get rejected? 553, about. Tries to hold it, bounces off of 550, and that was the previous support on the higher channel, and we broke that. So 543, look at that, perfect. 550, same thing, couldn't hold it, drops down. 548, nope, short dip buy. Look, rejected right here, doesn't go back to 550, and now we're in a downtrend. And in the downtrend, the previous dip was 541, so let's say 542. That's just another 0.5% where we are now. And we've been kind of holding this right here, 538, because people are kind of worried, you know, right here. They're trying to time this. But yeah, 538, that's 2% to 6. That's 4% from highs, about the 5% dip buy, about 4%. I'd be buying more. Look, we're at 544 flat. Slight reversal off the 543, 44 low. Oh, there you go. Not really holding it. So we're in a downtrend right here. So I would just be patient. You know, buy a small chunk like I just did. You can do whatever you want. Don't do anything. But this is SPY. If you're holding this for the long term, months to years, you will be fine. And I expected this downturn on VOO, SPY, S&P 500. I expected this all the way up here. You can see in my previous videos, I'm like, it's at all-time highs, 558, 560, 550, and I wasn't really buying. Even up here, I was not buying. Even though I could have made, you know, another 1.5%, 2%, I knew that, you know, why am I going to buy a large position towards the upper half? And if I do, it's just going to be like a day trader, 2-day swing trader. So I'm going to be very careful at highs, because what happens? Profit taking. It's huge. Look how fast this was. This was in 2 days, 6% to 2.5%. You dropped 4%, roughly 4% in a couple days. And then instead of going down to 5%, where people think that dip buy is, it's recovering at 4%. I bought that. I made the majority of it. You know, 2 to 4, 2 to 5, about 3%. I made $500 or so. I locked in a decent amount. You guys saw me sell around here. Show you the history here. Sell 5K at 542.24. 548, 548, 550. I bought a lot at 550. 533. You see me sell at 543, 548. That's good. 545, 545. I sold 545, 546, 550, 551. So that's good. 545, 550. Now it's 544. So I bought some and just gonna wait. I hope it goes down lower so I can just, you know, the cash I have on hand, I didn't spend earlier, 20K. I'm going to be buying this dip continuously until the bottom. And I'm assuming the bottom can be up to 10%. You know, unless it's an insane crash before the election. 15%, you know, we're at roughly 30. It says 27, but let's say roughly 30. And then 20, 30. So 15, we would come all the way down to here. Or most likely about 525 where I was looking before. 20 to roughly 30%. Would be a huge dip. You know, people think this is going to hold. There's going to be one of these times, of course, where it might hit the 538 and not hold. And then the next support is most like the base of this, which could be, you know, the 530, 533, which was basically the dip buy here. Go on the 1 week, if you can even see it. Yeah, look, 534 on this chart. I was grabbing some shares even under 534. Look at that, 533.09. You know, 533 plus 2%. You'd be up about 2% if you even bought that dip. Just recent. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Leave a follow so you can see the next video and what happens on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. But for now, leave a comment. I'll answer it over the weekend. Over the weekend, you want to be patient. Enjoy the weekend. Don't FOMO in, fear of missing out. Oh, it's down 3% from highs. I got to go crazy. No. Listen to what I've been telling you. You don't have to, but the results speak for themselves. I basically did the same thing as the S&P 500 on my own, and then I figured out, I'm like, I might as well just stick into the S&P 500. The 1 week, felt flat. We're up flat. It's fine. 1% fluctuation. The 1 month, 0, 8, 9%, 14%, negative 4%, plus 25. Large fluctuations, but at the end, we're on top. And here's the beginning. Here's the peak. I had a little bit of a taste of profit. I was up, I'm almost up 10%. I know what I'm doing. Then COVID. And COVID is not going to last 2 weeks like they said it was. It lasted like 2 years. And just kept buying patience. I'm like, we're not in a normal time. I'm going to be buying the dips. Tesla SPY, different stuff. We're not in normal times. And now we're pretty much out of it. But we still had a large move in the short term. So I expect some top chop. What am I saying? I expect some chop because look at the short term. Just starting from here, this base at 520, 525. Or even let's say, 526, 525. I mean, just look at it though. If you go to 5, about same thing, 530 plus 5%, 6%. We're back to all-time highs. So about 5-6% is the dip buy. Just be patient. Going to dollar cost average. If it goes lower, I'm going to buy the dip until the bottom. I don't know if you guys heard of the guy Tom Nash, Rick Gutierrez, a lot of top YouTubers, traders, swing traders, investors. They're just telling you pretty similar to what I'm telling you. So I'm saying, follow, it's free. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do on Monday and this week when you follow along here. And you'll see. Just following my method. Hopefully, I'm right and I'm patient and disciplined. And this portfolio will simply just go up and up. And eventually, I'll be at this 2K mark. And eventually, I'll see my first 1% gain on the portfolio of profit. And we're going to be back to $46,500, which originally was like 10K, 8K, 8,000. And then kept adding different jobs. The hardest part in the stock market is adding money and investing when there's a bear market and you're just down. And if it takes true balls and almost blind confidence. When you're new, you don't really know what works and what doesn't. But I had some blind confidence in the basics and buying the dips of the quality companies and SPY and Tesla. And what happened? I was fortunate enough to, make back about 16 grand from the lows, or the average low, about 16K, 17K I was down. Made back over $10,000. And many people told me, family members, wealthy people around me, get out of the market. Right around here, get out. You're not going to make the money back. Blah, blah, blah. And I made 10 grand out of thin air. And we're about to make back the full 20K. And we're going to make another 20K on top of that. And then another 20K. And then another 20K. And we'll be up 50 grand. And eventually I'll get to the 100 grand point in the portfolio. And it is beautiful here where you see the buying power at $73,000. Can I really just... $60 shares, or what is it, like 80 shares? 100. Can I really just buy 100 shares? I guess I can. I mean, I can. What would we do with that, though? Well, actually, I mean, I do want to do this. It's a great idea. The insane dip buy. So I have 20 shares here. Ooh, 79. 0.5. Okay, so if I spend 43 grand, so I'll be in 20K margin. So $20,000 margin plus 6.75%. 1350 divided by 365. This times 30. So 110 bucks a month. Really, honestly, not that crazy. 110 bucks a month to borrow 20 grand. And if I just sell the position within a month and just make $110 profit, which on 100 of, let's say 539, my new average, yeah, 54K or whatever, let's say 54,000 plus 1%. 1%, I'll make 500 bucks. And that's a, what did I say, 3% gain to the top. So 540 times 3. So I'll make 1,600 back to all-time highs. 1,600, we're down about, say, 4,400. So much I'm down. So I'll be down like 3K, which is nothing. Hold on, Ben's calling me, my buddy here. Got my buddies into stock investing. They're up a little bit, but they're up better than down. They're up something. And, you know, even if they don't know what they're doing, they're dollar cost averaging into certain stuff. But most likely, you know, they're down on certain stuff. You know, certain plays, I'm sure in the past when I didn't really know what I'm doing, telling them to get ARK Invest and different shit. You know, I apologize for that. You know, I'm not a pro. I lost a bunch of money too. As you can see here, this is not just one or two stocks. This is like 10 different stocks, buying, selling, different bullshit. Wasn't really as much of a master as I am now. To become a master, it just takes time and understanding so many variables about the stock market and psychology to where you can kind of condense it and know what to do when, and just overall be disciplined and patient. Follow the basics. But yeah, okay, let's say I buy 100 shares right here. 80 shares more, so 45, about 44K, 22K, 100 bucks a month, 22K margin. And why? So we can sell a covered call. So 7 days out, if we do it right here, so maybe I'll make like $2 because my average is above that. So it'll sell everything for about 500 bucks guaranteed. Or I make a guaranteed $300 if I do this. 2 weeks out, 21 days, a month out. So a month out, I mean, I can do 545 a month out, make about $3. So I can make about $1,000 if it sells. As in, if we are at 545 within a month, for under 545 within a month, or no, wait, if we hit 545, it'll sell it at 545. Yeah, so if we're at 545 within a month, so if we're not in a bear market and the market keeps going up, it would sell my shares at 545 in a month. But I'll have collected the $7.60, which is $760, and it would, you know, I'd get the difference, which could be $5. You know, it could be $1,500, $1,400, $1,300, whatever. But it's pretty guaranteed. And if it doesn't, you know, if it stays below 545, the current price, about the current price, I would keep all my 100 shares, which ideally. But I do want to sell them because it's like I don't want to hold this for a month. So if I hold this for 2 weeks, which is half a month, I will only be charged, I'll only be charged $55, $55 for the interest, and I could potentially make $545 today. It'll give me the credit, $545. And if it hits 545, I'll sell at 545. So yeah, let's say this goes up $3 from buying those 80 shares. And yeah, I make $5. I can make $5 on top of, well, I kind of want to do the short-term one, but it will raise my average super high. So I'm buying a shit ton of shares, 3% from the highs. So you guys are kind of seeing like how my mind working here. So, okay. I mean, 7 days, 7 days is kind of a lot. That's the first month of January. Things can pump into January, and I should have just, I don't really want to short it. But I mean, I think we are going to get rejected at highs. But look at that. That's why they're only going to pay you $5 at 560, which is all-time highs. Let's see. I mean, they'll give you, if we get rejected at 560, you'll make a free $45 on your 100 shares, which is nothing. But if it does hit, 40, 50, 60. So you can make $20 on here. You can make $2,000 in the next 2 weeks if it sells here, and you're just selling at resistance, basically making a 3% gain, plus $50. But let's say 55,000 plus 3%, 1,600. 1,600. 2 weeks, 560. Yeah, same thing. Or you can just, be patient. And we'll see what happens. I have 10K. Can be patient and just hold it. Covered call works when you already have 100 shares and it's up where you believe it's going to go down. And it could go down. But still bullish, potentially. And we're about to go into January. We don't know what's going to happen.